Welcome back to The Breakfast Show. This morning with me, Wakwa. Now, our guest this morning is an expert on anger management. Now, as Mr. Dina Das, a motivational speaker, he's been counseling people on how to deal with stress, anger and conflict resolution for the past 10 years. So, welcome to the show. How are you doing this morning?
Fine, thank you.
Good, great. Okay, now, I think, first of all, anger management, you know, everybody hears this term kind of floating around a lot. But what does it actually mean when you say anger management?
Well, we've been using this word long before the movie came about.
Yeah, I imagine so.
But I like to use the word anger management instead of using the word controlling anger, which has an element of repression.
Right,
because
that's true.
Repressing it doesn't help. If you stop it one way, it comes out some other way, and eventually it might come out through your hands.
Oh dear. So when you say anger management, it doesn't mean that I mean, because you look like a really calm person, but you know, you're probably like the pillar of but
Not really. I was a very angry person, and so
really?
That's why I got into this.
Okay, but I assume when you say anger management, it's not about never being angry, is it? It's about, if you feel angry, ways of dealing with it and kind of like...
Yes,
right?
Anger is a natural emotion, and it's ridiculous to think that you can live without it. But the point is that unbridled anger, uncontrolled anger, that is a problem.
Right. Because
we have a simple formula.
Okay.
You have a right to be angry, but you don't have a right to hurt anyone physically or emotionally.
True, true. And so many times when people let themselves lose themselves in the anger, they react in ways that they're going to regret afterwards.
Yes. And understanding this psychological change that happens between being calm and being completely crazy and then being calm again, if we understand this model, then we can use this knowledge to handle the anger much better.
Right.
If I can paint an analogy, it's like a river having a dike or a dam.
Okay.
In case of a flood, it holds the water, you know?
Yeah.
And when the water rises too much, we feel it. We all know, and we usually give a warning to the other person, hey, don't keep going on this line, I'm going to get angry.
Right.
You know, like the Hulk, you know, you won't like me when you're angry.
Yes, true, yes.
So anyway, and then there's a sign, sometimes the dam wall begins to crack. Sometimes it breaks, and then the water floods over, and then later you mend the dam and bring it back.
Right.
But we have sometimes a tendency to keep allowing the dam to break too often. And eventually, with some people, they become like angerholics, you know? And then there's no dam at all. So it's free flow from being normal to being angry, but they don't understand the psychological change that takes place when they're calm and when they're angry.
Right. Okay, so before we actually get on to how to manage anger, you know, what are some of the things that people sort of, I mean, because everybody, when they feel angry, they have different reactions to, you know, how they get angry or what makes them angry. But what are some of the, you know, psychological and physiological, you know, things that you go through when you get angry?
Okay, I think everyone knows what anger is. You know, it's a natural thing. We could say when we are out of our constitution,
right,
that we are not. Everything is not calm and settled and functioning the way it should.
Right.
And actually when we lose our temper, we lose control of our thoughts, our speech, and our actions.
Right.
So the idea is that we have to figure out where this anger lies, which part of my psychic being or psychic body, and what are the different techniques that I could use to pull it back and prevent myself from jumping over the ledge. There is this is my opinion.
Okay.
We actually you see, we're calm and we are upset.
Right.
And there's that in-between stage. That's where the problem can be solved.
Right.
That everybody knows when he's about to get angry, and when he tries to hold back for a little while, usually.
There's a count to 10 and take a deep breath.
Yes, exactly, that sort of thing. There's so many things that could be done.
Yeah.
But if we do finally get angry, it's because we've decided to do it.
Really?
And we do it because we kind of enjoy it. Because once you're angry, there's no rules and regulations to hold you back. Then you can do anything you like. You see, you can always say sorry later when you come down.
True, yeah. So all those little things that you just want to say at that moment, you can actually let yourself say because you're using the excuse of, oh, well,
excuse, exactly. It is an excuse. So we describe it in this way, that well, anger is the product of the frustration of a desire.
Wow.
It's really deep. But think about it. If somebody didn't do something the way you wanted it or when you wanted it, and therefore you react. If you didn't have that desire, you wouldn't have become angry. Now, when this person does the forbidden act, say it's your friend or your wife, she's not supposed to put the glass on the table, for example, and she's done it again. They say, how many times must I tell you? 10,000 times you keep, and then because of that you become angry. It looks like a normal situation. Step 1, the person did a forbidden act. Step 2, I became angry.
Yep.
And therefore, I logically say, because of you, my morning is spoiled. But what we say is that step 1 is the action which wasn't according to your desire was performed. And step 3 is that you became angry and then you started screaming and shouting or being nasty. But what was step 2?
Letting yourself actually get riled up by the fact that so you could just say, never mind, take it off yourself, right? Is that what you're saying?
Something like that. But to understand it more scientifically, it's step 1 of the action was done which you didn't like. Step 2, you lost control of your mind. And step 3, you became angry.
Right.
So the ability to control the mind is something that we all have, and we could develop it.
Wow.
Like if I ask you to just meditate on this plant for a few minutes, you fix your senses there, and eventually try and do something internally to still your mind so that you are now meditating or thinking about this plant.
Okay.
Now how do you do that? You see, first the senses are below the mind. They are a lower form of energy. All the information from the 5 senses goes to the mind. So then when your senses are focused on the object that you wish to think of, it is your intellect, which is another part of the psychic body, which is above the mind, and the intellect dictates to the mind and tells it where to go and what to do.
Okay.
So you're doing it quite well, I've noticed. But can you imagine if you were in a total, absolute rage right now, and I asked you to do that?
Yeah.
You'd probably be or you might be thinking, I might take this flower pot and bang the person on the head. And there's a strong tendency when you're upset, it's probably the only tendency to keep on dwelling on that particular sequence of actions that aggravated you.
Yeah.
So if you can, knowing that your mind is sandwiched between the intellect and the senses below, if you can engage your senses in something like breathing, counting to 10, and engage your intellect thinking about something higher, then you have a chance to pull yourself out of it.
Right.
One thing that you need to do is that when we are upset, our memory fails. The intellect is dependent on memory. If you can't remember what your principles are, then at the moment when you are agitated, you won't be able to act according to it. So we give a very simple formula. We have a little poster that one could...
Oh, wow. Okay.
Let's one could...
okay.
It's a bit... It's a little funny. Why don't you read it out?
At the top, yeah. Okay. You may be angry. It's okay. We understand. It happens to the best of us. But must you be stupid on top of that? I like that. That is actually...
Okay, and why do you have to be stupid? Because this is stupid. Read this.
Surgeon General's warning. Anger can permanently damage your relationships. Take precautions. I like that, yes.
This is the only result of words spoken in anger.
True.
It doesn't do anything productive, but it does destroy the relationship.
Yeah.
Right, and what's the last one?
If you are angry, please be intelligent. Decide now that when it next happens, you'll shut up and excuse yourself. Don't expect to make that decision after becoming angry. You'll only be cheating yourself. I think that's true, actually, because once you actually get to the state of being angry, it's impossible to, well, it's very hard
exactly,
to
and
pull
we know
yourself back down.
It's like this. We say that a problem is not a problem once you've identified it and taken all precautions. So if you know that when I'm angry, and if I allow myself to get into the anger, and I'm going to say things that are going to simply spoil my relationship with the person, and it's not going to be productive, so I should take a precaution and understand that I'm going to make this decision when I reach the brink. Calm, angry. When I reach the brink, I'm going to stop. This is one input to remember. I'm going to make a decision now, but don't decide then. Decide now that I will keep quiet and walk away, even if it's going to humiliate me. But it's good to be humble. Just say, I'm sorry, I'll talk to you when I'm feeling better, and I'll go away. And there's something...
Well, actually, we'll get to that after the break. We've just got to go away for a quick break right now. When we come back, we'll find out the second thing that we can do. So don't go away. We'll be talking more about anger management after the break.